Hi, I'm Tara Walrod, and this is my Module 5. I'm going to start by talking about the different articles that we read and the video that we watched. In the article, Barriers in Using Web 2.0, I think most schools could relate to the barriers that were mentioned. I feel very fortunate that I work in a district with a strong, innovative culture and a strong vision on where we're headed when it comes to innovation and technology. So that's just part of the school district I live in. I could relate to the barrier though of time. I think that our teachers and staff have so many duties above and beyond working with kids that we often don't have the time to plan how to integrate technology the way we would like to. The second barrier is the lack of tech support. We share a tech support person with several different buildings, so getting them there when you need them can often take time, which means sometimes we just scratch the activity or decide not to do it because we don't have technology that's working the way it should be. In the video that we watched, I could really relate because I work in an elementary school, and I often ask the question, why are we doing so much to integrate and the high school is not doing those types of things? So I really could relate to what she was saying, that it is due to time constraints, that our students, we can start with technology and the rules of technology and those kinds of things like the first minute they get to us, and then we can keep it going all day or into the next day and several days, and we know all of our kids are being trained in the same way. So that made a lot of sense to me. And that we're smaller, so we're just able to get more on board with the culture and being innovative and collaborating together. In the third article, 7 Common Barriers, I felt that a lot of these barriers that I talked about were kind of interrelated when I was thinking about having a vision, changing the teacher's role from an instructor to more of a mentor, and getting teachers to no longer spend their day in textbooks. I think all of that kind of goes hand in hand. And again, in my relation to this, I'm coming from a district that really has a strong innovative vision and is actually giving some relief to teachers because they no longer have to teach to the test or to a textbook. They now get to have a lot of creativity in their teaching. In the next article that discussed the digital divide, I related in a little different way. I did grow up in rural southeast Kansas, and believe me, we did not have a lot of technology there. And then second of all, we also, even now when I go to visit my mom there, we have trouble even getting connected to the internet. So I'm sure that students who live close to her still struggle with that, of having internet at home, or that it's very slow, or staying connected. And then also it's really expensive. She spends a lot of money in order to even have it at her house. And the last one about OER, I think that's a way for teachers to have a guide instead of a prescribed textbook. And it's coming from teachers, and obviously it relates to the standards. That's really important than just pulling Pinterest activities that you feel work. I mean, there's no reason to have to reinvent the wheel. So I really enjoyed reading about the OER opportunities. Do I feel the digital divide can be resolved? Why or why not? The digital divide can only be resolved if broadband technology becomes seen as a federal financial priority. I think this specific issue relates not only to low income, but rural areas as well. And as we look at Kansas, there's a lot of rural areas, and I think kids are truly disadvantaged if they don't have internet at home or they have very slow internet at home. So although, I've read over and over that more people have smartphones than they do health insurance, I do feel like data can become an issue even if you have a smartphone. And then I do think smartphones offer students a learning tool that they maybe didn't have in the past. So that does help. However, I still feel like they're disadvantaged. And with the small populations, companies just aren't investing in broadband in rural America. And the federal government will have to decide and be willing to not only find ways to get broadband services there, but also make sure that the price remains affordable. And then once they do get services, or the government does decide to mandate that, I still think it's going to be a slow progress, and training is going to be needed because they haven't had those opportunities before. What skill sets do I feel 21st century students have to acquire before graduation? First of all, they have to be innovative thinkers, and they have to have a digital skill set. So that includes thinking outside the box, being a problem solver. But it also means being a responsible digital citizen as well. I think they have to be a communicator, so they have to have the ability to collaborate. And because the world is getting smaller and they are working in a global community on the internet, I think you have to have an awareness of global and cultural beliefs and values and working with different types of people. And then leadership skills, being self-directed, resilient, and also having a vision of where you're headed. What impact has the global economy had on my personal use of the internet? First and foremost, information. I think most anything I need is available in seconds to me. And this allows me really to concentrate on a lot of creative ideas and doing different things because I can get that information quickly. And then second would be social media. Not only have the ability to obviously communicate with my friends, but also know that what's going on around the world and what's happening right now, and that I can communicate all the cool things that I'm doing at school as well. So I think all of that's important, but I do think it impacts me by not maybe having as many deep connections as I had before social media. Third, shopping. I can have almost any item at school or at home within a day. And then training, support, and professional development. I can learn how to do something, how to fix something. I can read what a school across the country is doing in a certain way, and I can impact and use that in my classroom. And then this also impacts me professionally because, for example, taking this class. Couldn't do that without the internet. What technology training do I still need? Well, as a school counselor in my current position, I need continual training on just what's available for students. How to effectively use student data. I put this little visual over here because we have so much data on our kids and we know so much about them. So learning how to figure out how to prescribe interventions and drive interventions for kids based on all of this data. And then I need training on social media. Again, I'm using social media. One of my jobs as the counselor is to effectively communicate our SEL initiatives. So being able to do that in an effective way. And then just keeping up with social media in general, the students' use and misuse of it so I can combat cyberbullying. Is the school or district equipped with 21st century technology? I think yes, we are. We have a strong vision. We have a strong infrastructure. We are ready to roll. We have lots of different technology, including iPads, smartboards, laptops, apps, computer integration within the day, coding instruction. We have Apple TV. So I do think we do. I think we have, because we have a strong vision and because our culture is now to do that, teachers are taking off on it. And we actually are even giving up a special this year because we're no longer going to have computer class. It's disappearing. We're going to integrate computers and technology throughout their entire day and integrate it into all subject areas instead of having an actual computer class. So I think that's going to help our kids be 21st century ready. We are also doing the same with literature this year, and I think both of that is important because when students go into the work world here in a while, subjects are not isolated, they are integrated. What are the advantages of innovative practices? First and foremost is time. If you have computers and kids have their Chromebooks or things ready to roll, then students can get busy. I think we can go deeper with the curriculum. We can go wider with the curriculum. Kids can learn so much more than just what they might learn in a textbook. It also gives them PBL opportunities and abilities to move at a pretty fast pace. I think it helps increase in student engagement. And I think it prepares for 21st century workforce. These innovative practices are actually helping our students gain critical thinking skills, SEL skills, and real-world thinking ability because they're taking real-world problems as kids and finding ways to fix problems. The disadvantages of innovative practices in school: postings, privacy, cyberbullying is an issue. Copyright plagiarism. I think internet, social media, gaming addictions are all a problem. And then free apps aren't always free. I often tell the story that we have a little girl at our school who downloaded an app and was using it. And we only used the free portion of it, but there was not. Well, somehow she got her parents' Apple ID, and we got a call that she had spent over $1,000 on the app. So I think teaching kids those kinds of things are just as important, but obviously cyberbullying is a problem. Copyright plagiarism, too often our kids are just writing what they see on the internet or what they're researching instead of actually thinking about it and writing their own version of it. Have I ever experienced problems with cyberbullying or other inappropriate use of technology? Yes. Cyberbullying can be really simple. It could just be a funny joke that maybe someone didn't find so funny, but can also be things like I've dealt with where kids are telling other kids to hurt themselves. So it can be a wide range of different things. So I've dealt with cyberbullying as young as 3rd grade through gaming. I think social media plays a huge part in cyberbullying. And the other part I mention always in these types of things is that parents and teachers have to model those positive online behaviors as well. We'll have parents that are upset with things going on at school and will post hurtful, mean things about the school or the teacher, and I think that that's not positive behavior for our kids to be seeing. And then students also struggle with understanding and just summarizing, like I mentioned. I think sometimes when they're researching, they just write exactly what they see on the screen. Thank you very much.